Hello everyone. Happy New Year. I can't believe it's 2022. I just it's weird. Um so this is actually Brooklyn 8 months asleep, and she'll be the first reborn that I have available for the new year for 2022. She is big, like she's really big. She's still a work in progress, as you can tell. She's not together, and she will have hair. She'll be fully rooted, but she is going to be around 9 to 12 months size. So she's quite chunky, really big. But she will be the last big doll that I do for a while until I can figure out or try to wait out to see if Genesis Heat Set figures their crap out, or find an alternative way to paint these dolls, which will probably mean going down, unfortunately, the train of testing out different air dry paints again. When I first started reborning, I tried different air dry paints, and they never stuck to the vinyl, and they would always come out like really shiny. And I tried 3 different brands, so I guess I'm just gonna have to try some new ones, and go down that route again if Genesis Heat Set Paints takes forever to get their paints restocked. So anyway, I wanted to show you guys her because I feel like I never show dolls on here when they're available until they're already sold, basically. But she is available for reserve. She will be between $700 and $800. That sounds really expensive, but she's huge, and yeah, she takes a lot of work. Especially rooting her is not going to be fun. She's got a little big old head. So yeah, that's the normal price for my toddler size ones, which I consider her toddler size because she wears like 9 to 12. But yeah, I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday. I had a really great New Year's. Spent it with someone I really enjoy, and it was really healing and transformative. It was a really great New Year's, and I actually realized, I was doing reflection over leading up to the New Year's, that 2021 had its moments of where it was really really bad, but overall 2021 was a great year for me. I mean, I'm always hesitant about like setting up resolutions, so I usually don't. But for 2021, I actually did have quite a few goals and resolutions that I wanted to complete before the year ended, and I actually completed all the things that I wanted to do. I got my driver's license. I bought a car outright, so I don't have to do car payments. I moved into my own apartment and I live alone, and I graduated. So, I did everything that I set out to do this year or that past year. So, yeah, for 2022, I'm not going to set any resolutions. I just want to keep continuing on my path of doing well. And yeah, I hope you guys are, if you do try to have resolutions, be realistic with yourself. It's going to be another probably difficult year with the pandemic continuing on how it is. So just be like kind to yourself, and don't make yourself feel bad if you can't do all the things that you want to do. We're living in an unprecedented time, and you can't really force things to happen that, just aren't realistic right now. So be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and yeah, let's get into this topic. Okay, so for this video, I wanted to change Kier into a more winter outfit because it's actually supposed to start snowing finally tonight, and they're saying anywhere between like 6 to 8 inches tonight, late tonight, and then 2 more inches in the morning. So it's supposed to be a good snow. We'll see. Hopefully it sticks to everything, but not the road. Because I've been wanting snow, and I've had this snow suit that I'm gonna put on him in the morning, since I bought it on clearance last year. So hopefully I'll finally get a chance to use it, and take some pictures and do maybe a video tomorrow, but not post it right away. But yeah, so I have 2 sets of like 2 different outfits that I'm thinking about changing him into. I think I'm going to put him in the warmer one. Not that it matters because he doesn't actually get cold, but it'll protect him a little bit better. So I have this one, but it's like just thin, and I'm going to put a onesie. I would put a onesie underneath of it. It's really cute. I think I have had this outfit for years. It's definitely one of my favorites. It's really cute. I got it from Lidl a few years back, which is like Aldi's, if you don't know what that is. It's like a discount grocery, but they have like other stuff all the time. And Lidl specifically has a line of baby clothes, or they did when I got that. But yeah, speaking of being kind to others, I want to defend myself a little bit because people are making it seem like I was just randomly attacking Springflower, and that's not the case. If you don't do anything that's wrong, I'm not gonna call you out for no reason. So what she was doing was promoting something that was illegal, and I and many other collectors feel very, very strongly about these copies because we listen to the sculptors and we know how it harms this art form. And if we don't have the sculptors that want to keep sculpting and bringing new sculpts, this art form is going to die out, or it's going to very much change from the way we know it now. So I might have come off harsh in that video, but I was definitely not bullying her and saying that no one should be kind to her. I wanted responsibility, and she did an interview on her channel now with Ping Lao, and I'm hoping that talking directly to a sculptor has changed her mind about having that copy of this Maddie in her collection, because I hope that she actually listened and absorbed what Ping Lao was saying about how it actually does hurt to have those dolls show up like that, and people promoting them, because yes, Springflower absolutely was promoting them in that video, because if you look at all the comments that she didn't delete, she deletes negative comments, by the way, if you look at those comments that she left up, people were saying that, oh yeah, now that I see you with this doll and see how pretty that doll is, I'm going to go and buy that doll. That's promoting. So she can't say that she wasn't promoting them when she was in that video. But yeah, so I wanted to just I'm not, I swear I'm not a mean person, but when you do things like that and make it seem like you don't care about the consequences, people have to stand up for the integrity of this art form. And that's what I was doing. Now, other people took that video and ran with it and did like a whole bunch of unnecessary stuff. And I can't control what other people do. That's like a theme, I feel like, in my life, that I can't control how other people react to, circumstances, and it's unfortunate that they took it as far as some people did to to her. But I do really appreciate that she actually reached out to Ping Lao and had that conversation. You can see that on her channel. But again, I don't know if it really sunk into her, because at the end of that video, she still said she respects everyone's ability to do whatever they want with their collection, which is still not good. It's still problematic, because like I said, these knockoff dolls are hurting the community, whether you want to admit that or not. But anyway, so that brings me to the actual video topic today. I wanted to make sure people understood that I am not elitist at all as far as doll collecting goes. I don't care if you have cheap Reborns or $800 ones or whatever, because, these, like I always say, these are luxury items, and not everybody can afford the same amount of things in the same quality. That's not what that whole rant was about. I don't care if you have a $200, $100 doll, as long as it's a legitimate doll and it's not stealing someone's work. I don't feel like that's very hard to understand, but apparently people were like, you think you're better than some people because you have actual Reborns. And let me tell you straight up, no. This whole time I've had my channel, I have been a university student. I save up, or I make dolls to sell dolls to get a collection doll. I am in no ways rich, I'm doing pretty well for myself now, but that is only through my hard work and being who I am to be making money. I When I first got into this community, because a lot of you might not know, I have been in and out of Reborns since 2012, so now 10 years. When I first got into this community, I did not have a Reborn doll. I had an Ashton Drake doll, which is one of the alternatives that I'm going to talk about in this video. So, and I completely understand not being able to afford an actual Reborn, but that is absolutely no way an excuse to buy a knockoff, because like I'm going to talk about, there are so many alternatives that you can go down that route before buying a knockoff knowingly. So that's another thing that I want to clarify. My anger only applies to people who knew about how these dolls were illegal and then went ahead and bought one anyway. It does not apply to new people who had no idea what they were buying, you know. Although you should research before you spend a bunch of money on something anyway. But that my anger does not apply to those people because they didn't know. You can't know to do better if you don't know better. With Springflower, she has been collecting for a while, so she knew better, which is, again, where the anger came from. But like I said, I came into this community not with an actual Reborn doll, but with an alternative. Ashton Drake dolls are wonderful alternatives. They range in around $100, which some people still might think is too expensive for a doll, but when you compare them to the prices of Reborns, that's absolutely nothing. And if you really want a realistic doll, you're going to save up for that money. It's worth it. I promise you, it's worth it. Like, even seeing him, he's an actual Reborn, obviously, but you can tell his detail, you know. I think it's worth it to save up if you really want something that's beautifully done and you want to support people who are artists and collectors who want to support their sculptors. They'll save up. But if you can't do that, Ashton Drake is a great option. And so is Kinby dolls. These are all factory painted dolls, but they are way more realistic than a doll that you would get, for example, at Walmart or something. So that's why I say these are great alternatives. Now, a lot of people will make sure that you know they're not Reborns, and people do that because they know how much work it takes to paint these dolls that are actual Reborns. So a lot of people will make sure you know that these Ashton Drakes or Kinby dolls are not Reborn dolls because they are factory painted. But like I said, they're still wonderful alternatives, and most people aren't going to judge you for having them in this community because they're still realistic dolls that come from a legitimate place, and they're not copies of people's work. Another company that does these more realistic dolls that are still factory painted is Paradise Galleries. They're the main one I recommend because their prices are really cheap. We're talking less than $100 for a lot of their dolls, and they often have really good sales, so you get a doll for even cheaper, and you really can't beat that for their quality of their dolls. And in fact, speaking of Ping Lao is one of the sculptors who does Reborn kits, and she also sculpts for Paradise Galleries. So yes, like I said in my little rant video, Springflower's claims were kind of ridiculous that sculptors should make cheaper versions of their kits, even though some, like Ping Lao, actually do make cheaper versions of their kits for these factory painted companies. So yes, Ping Lao sculpts a lot of kits for Paradise Gallery, so you can get one of her sculpts for a cheaper version of her sculpts. Right now, they have them on Paradise Gallery, and I'm gonna link all of what I'm talking about in the description. And again, they're wonderful alternatives to a more expensive doll like him, because you can also reweight these dolls so they can even feel even more like Reborns, or you can repaint them. A lot of people do that. And once you repaint them, yes, then they become Reborn dolls, because that's the definition, hand-painted dolls that are meant to look like real babies, or, you know, more realistic, hyper-realistic. So once you repaint a Paradise Gallery or Kimby or Ashton Drake, they become Reborns. But yeah, they're wonderful, and they maintain your integrity as a collector, as a someone who's starting out. You know, it makes it way easier for you to get into this community and not have people judge you or attack you, like they were doing with Springflower. And, you know, I keep mentioning her because, you know, that video was mostly directed at her because she was a knowing collector. But this applies to everyone, you know, who knowingly buys an illegal knockoff. I don't care who it is. I was just using her as an example because she boldly was promoting them. But this applies to everyone. So it's not even me bullying her or it's not even her specifically. This is about anyone who supports the promotion, collecting, buying, selling of those illegal knockoffs, because it really harms everyone, whether you want to see it or not. And if you don't believe me, I would go to my community tab and you can read for yourself the words that some of the sculptors are saying from their own perspective on this issue. For example, Bonnie Brown is a wonderful, hardworking sculptor, and she is heartbroken that Springflower was promoting that knockoff of her Maddie sculpt. So it's not just me as a collector or us as a community of people who are saying that this is wrong. This is from the actual collectors, the actual sculptors themselves, who are being like destroyed personally, financially, everything by these dolls because they put so much work and energy into them. And a lot of people are so calloused about it because they say, well, why don't they copyright their work? Why aren't they working harder to protect their work? Again, you should watch that video with Springflower interviewing Ping Lao. They are working hard to stop these copies, and their work is copyright protected, which is why this is illegal. But it's kind of hard to fight this battle when people who are supposed to support you within your own community are promoting the things that are harming you and that you're actively trying to take down. So yes, you know, it is a bigger issue than just collectors, but the people who are promoting these dolls as collectors are certainly not helping the situation. And you have to ask yourself, is it really worth hurting these sculptors to get a cheap doll? And if it is worth it for you, then absolutely I do not respect you, and I do judge you, because if you can sit back and just be selfish and say that I just want a cheap doll, I don't care who it hurts because it's my money, then that doesn't make me feel like you're a good person. And I don't think that's bullying, and I don't think that's mean. You have to respect the work that people put into this art form, at least for my viewpoint. We're all different people, but I don't think that's too much to ask about someone who supposedly loves these dolls. You should love the sculptors who make it possible, as well as the painters who make it possible. So that being said, I hope this video clarified some of my intentions, and I hope it gave you guys some alternatives, because I did say alternative. I said all of this in that original rant. However, apparently people did not care to actually listen to what I was saying. They just heard my anger about the situation, and they heard that I was calling out someone, and I don't know, they just didn't contemplate that I was giving alternatives and not saying that you had to spend a bunch of money to be included in this community. Most collectors will open you, welcome you with open arms, regardless if you have a Reborn or one of these alternatives that I talked about, because they're still legitimate dolls. I don't know how many other ways to reiterate that it's not about the money you spend, it's about being a decent consumer of these dolls. It's just, it's not about the money. It's never has been about the money. We've got all ranges of work here that people collect. But yeah, I hope this was helpful. And like I said, I'm going to link everything below. And if anyone else knows any legitimate alternatives Feel free to suggest them as well, because I've listed 3 sites, but people like to have more options for whatever reason. And going forth in the future, I hope to start making some more budget babies, so in the 200 range, as far as where my regular dolls newborn size costs from 300 to 400 usually. So I'm hopefully going to start doing some more budget friendly dolls that are still reborns and are still beautiful. But yeah, I hope that was extremely helpful, and I will see you guys next video. Happy New Year's. Take it easy. If you're getting snow as like we're supposed to, take it easy. Don't go driving when you don't have to. And I will see you guys then.